Welcome on in. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate having you. Afro-Mex fam, welcome. Verlene, good to have you here. You are such a great supporter. I spent last night watching you guys over at the fair. OMG, I could never. I have always been afraid of like going to amusement parks for the rides and stuff because I'm afraid of height and movement together. So not a good combination for me. I am completely horrified of stuff like that. So whenever I ever have gone to like fairs, carnivals, or amusement parks, I'm the person that hold everybody's coats or belongings so they can get on those rides. If it's not down on the ground, like the discotheque, I don't even know if that's around anymore. Bumper cars, stuff like that, I'm not doing it. No way. I think I used to go just to be with the crowd, but I never enjoyed carnivals, fairs, like none of that stuff. Again, if the things aren't on the ground, like me like playing basketball, like the games and stuff, I'm okay with. But rides, they have to be on the ground. I didn't even like going on tours too much because sometimes they'll get you back in the woods and they get a little hilly. Didn't play those games. But you guys look like y'all had a fun time. Oh my God. Yeah, they were wild. I was looking like, oh, they better than me. I think I even said that in your comments, like, I could never. Welcome in, Sharice. Thank you for coming in, beautiful. Cicely, appreciate having you. Moderator Maya, dear. Mega love shout out. Thank you guys for joining me. I know it's in the middle of the night where you are, Maya, so thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate having you. And I do understand if you guys over at Team Happy cannot hang around because I know it's like 12:30 a.m. for you. Thank you so much. Appreciate having you all here. As you guys can see, today's topic is about Homeland Security. I just want to put this disclaimer out there at the beginning. I don't know everything. Rules change from day to day. A lot of rules are new and in place since Trump took office. We all know that he was trying to build a wall. And he put a lot of rules and regulations in place as far as immigration and Homeland Security is concerned. But I do know quite a bit from the experience I just had with hubby. It was a long... Okay, so we started the process in 2017. And we actually just obtained his 10-year green card, which is his permanent resident, a month ago. Because I shared it with you guys here on my platform. I showed you guys proof of his green card in my hand, and at the end of the video, that last video that we did was basically our last time that we had to come face to face with immigrations. When I started that video, like the beginning, like majority of the video, about 90% or 95, was us actually in the car, parked in front of the Homeland Security building, which I showed you guys. And we really didn't know what to expect because that was an interview that it wasn't documented like the normal interviews that were going on prior to the pandemic and prior to Trump taking office. We did some changes because the office had shut down for a period of time. And again, with all the changes that were made to take effect, we didn't know exactly what to expect. Although we had someone helping us along the way from day one, as far as filing our documentation and things of that nature, it still was exhausting, a tedious process. And even these guys that deal with it from a legal standpoint was completely unaware of what to expect from interview to interview, and still are right now anymore. This is crazy. Immigration is too much these days. The process is ridiculously lengthy and complex. Listen, I've shared with my community on a number of occasions that every time we came face to face with immigrations, we left with headaches, chest pains, anxiety, frustration. I mean, we went through a whirlwind of emotions. You would walk into the building and you would feel completely fine. They are set up to completely drain you mentally. They put your marriages through some trying times. It is very unfortunate to have somebody outside of your marriage that's not God, because I always say to people, in order for a marriage to work, it has to be three parties, the husband, the wife, and God. Because if God is not in the center, you guys can come up with your own narrative for that. But, oh my gosh, these people ask the most invasive questions. I believe they ask me questions more invasive than my husband himself, and he's my counterpart. It is hard not to become frustrated, outspoken. Even if you are a very laid-back person, they test you. They test your patience. You have to become a bit vulgar. And I know that's a harsh word, but you really do, because you have to shut these people down. I don't understand why they would allow two people to get married and live together for at least a year plus. And then they want to bring you over to the immigration's office and just kind of tear your union apart. I even asked the original officer, investigating officer, that's what it's called, how do you sleep at night? I asked this young lady that interviewed us last the same thing. I'm like, why do you guys wait for people to get married and they're living together harmoniously and they're happy, and then you guys step in and want to tear the union apart? Like, isn't this backwards? Shouldn't you guys do this process beforehand when someone files, for a certificate so that they can get married, when they setting everything up? Shouldn't you guys be on the front end so that if you're going to go ahead and dissolve somebody's happy home, you do it before they even get to that point? Because let's just take my family. And again, I'm only going to speak about my own personal experience. I may speak and tell you some things that I know that happen to some couples around hubby and myself. But for the most part, I can only speak about my and hubby's experiences. It is, gosh, I know that Verlene is in here, and I know she knows a lot about it. I know that Judith Daniels is in here, and she knows about it. But it is like, I can't express to you guys enough how invasive it is. And I want anyone who may be facing this, who may be dealing with the immigration process, to really tune into these uploads that I'm about to bring to you guys, because I'm going to try to arm you as much as I can with what I know. It's not your normal, let's come together and have a marriage. It's not that normal kumbaya. Once you start the process of immigration, K1, fiance visa, invitation into the States. There's a lot of there were lotteries in the past. Actually, Afromex, I am in a great place now because we did obtain his paperwork. So now all he would have to do at this point is his U.S. passport, his American passport, and then if he wants to obtain 100% citizenship. But we're finished, thank God. But we do have a lot of friends that's still caught up in the system, and I'm still here for them. I still speak with the other American wives and just let them know what they can expect, and ways that they can answer these people honestly, but assertively, because you cannot go into this facility and allow these people to tear apart your marriage. You just can't do that. You want to advocate. As the American citizen, you have to advocate for your partner. You have to let these people know you're not going to disrespect my husband. You're not going to disrespect my wife if it's the wife that's immigrant or foreigner. Okay. But they even have TV shows. I know it looks crazy and you guys might not think it's real, but it's real. 90 Day Fiance, it's real. Tune into that to get an idea of the process too, because that's the more graphic way to do that. Like, it's presented before your eyes. Like, you can actually go through these storylines with these individuals and see what they face and see even the backlash that the family members are giving you. Like, no, you can't marry them. They just want to come into America. They're going to leave you for someone else. They just want to bring their families in. Like, it's really wrong. I know people think it's not, but it's real. It's real, guys. With the K-1 visa process alone, it can be frustrating. Especially now. I think things used to move along more quickly pre-pandemic, but they had closed down a lot of those offices and things are just on a delay. It is what it is. It's unfortunate, but I have a niece, I call her my niece, who's going through that. Have no answers. File those paperwork in the beginning of the year. No answers. Like, not even processing. Like, nothing in the system stating that they've even received documentation. And it's frustrating because they tell you this is what you need. All of this stuff is time sensitive. So with K-1, you have 2 years. There's a 2-year timestamp on this stuff. The clock is ticking. And so you go and you do everything you're supposed to do, and then they're not delivering in their end. Again, very frustrating to say the least. So with that process, I know you have to have seen your partner within 2 years. Because again, all of this is a time-sensitive situation. I know they dig like in your social media accounts to see like the verbiage, the communication that the two of you had. They want to prove everything. Remember, everything that they're doing is to discredit your union. They check like texts, they check emails, like any type of communication you and the party had. They want to know, like, as far as if so, say for instance, I'm going to use my niece for example because she's a part of my panel for international love, and this isn't anything that she's not willing to share anyway. And in fact, she's doing her journey on her channel, which is building Ace Legacy. If you guys haven't checked out her channel, please do so. Judith, can you drop your link if you're able? Or have Lacey, because she's a mod. Just drop the link if you guys can. Proud Bitch Child, thank you for coming in. TSM, Team Happy, Monette, welcome. Mega Love shout out, thank you for joining me. Erica Wilson, thank you, beautiful. That's my sister, everybody. Moderator, Maya, okay. All of Team Happy, Mega Love shout out. Virtual hugs to you all. Thank you so much. Because again, I said it in the beginning, I know that it's in the middle of the night for you guys, so I really appreciate you guys coming into the chat to support. Thank you so much. So there are a lot of things that they require. Tamika Davis, I see you coming in the back door, sweetheart. Thank you. Appreciate having you. So they want to know like your intent to marry, like the means that you have. Like for her, they wanted to see like a down payment or a deposit on like a wedding gown, on like her venue, either down payment, deposit, or paid in full. So if you go to the person's country and you have what they call a introduction ceremony, they want documentation of that because there is some signing and stuff that has to be. When you return to your country, which is the U.S., we're going to just say, we're going to use Nigeria and the U.S. because that's what hubby and I went for. But again, hubby and I did not go through the K-1. I did not invite him in. His brother did. Okay. I just want to make that clear. And if you're not clear on that, you can always go back and watch our International Loves because I've shared how we met and everything. And we are we have completed 4 parts for International Love so far. So the next time we come before you guys, it'll be part 5. And this time when we come back, we're going to be playing a game where you guys get to guess whose storyline it is from all the information we shared with you from parts 1 through 4. So go ahead and catch up on that because we're planning on coming back within like a week or 2, and we're going to play that game. But so yeah, hubby and I did not go through that process. However, when you do go over to that country and you have this ceremony, you are supposed to bring back some documentation with you for the individual, for your union, and you got to get to filing because again, you're on that 2-year timeline. And things go rather quickly. I do see something from Judith. There may be people who are not doing things for the right reasons. Exactly. You can't base and judge all situations on bad experiences that you've heard of. There are still genuine folk out there. Absolutely. And unfortunately, it seems like that's what immigration does. They look at every union like it's false. It's arranged. And that's simply not the case. With hubby and I, whenever we were in our interviews, that's what it always felt like. So I just know that they flat out look at every union as if they are arranged marriages. So once you file that paperwork, the initial paperwork, it's supposed to be your waiting period. So we're talking pre-pandemic because we did ours in 2017. It went way smoother than what my niece is experiencing now, building Ace Legacy. Again, tune into her channel so you can hear. She's a very new channel, but she's going over the whole process on her channel. So you guys can check her channel now and follow that process through. It would be greatly appreciated. But once you get to the process of filing your paperwork, again, it's a waiting period because you're waiting on the work authorization for we had to, for my husband, once he was here and we got married and we filed our paperwork, it was the waiting period. And I want to say it took up to a year, not even. It came in January and we were married in April. So we got married in April and he got his work authorization stopped, hi John, and travel documents in January where he can go and work. So that'll give you an idea of what the time frame was before. Up until that point, I knew, one moment. I knew that everything financially had to be on my shoulders, just as they were before he came into the country. Because you don't have work authorization, you can't work. And if you remember, Trump was in office at the time, so that's when a lot of these changes were going into effect and rather quickly. But I had to do everything just as I was. He was like a body into the home because he was helping me out with the babies. The kids that we have are now 5, 7, and 8. That's who we had in the house at the time. We just got the 11-year-old in this year. But these babies go back to 2017. They were babies. They were 1. 2 of them were 1, and 1 of them was newborn. So he was hands-on with that, and he eased like everything that I had to do in the house. But as far as working, I continued working like full-time in a part-time job. And I did everything just as I did because one extra person in the house is not that big deal to me. But it was a great deal as far as being hands-on. He did go to New York. I share that with you guys because New York I consider a big state. And he was able to obtain under the table work. That worked out for about 2-3 weeks. He missed his family, his wife and the babies, and he wanted to come back home. And that was perfectly fine with me, guys. I did not fight it. I had already felt that way, but I did not want to deter or discourage him. So I just let him make the call. And I think his friends got in his ear like, you guys are newlywed and you're away from your wife? No. So I knew that they thought that way, and I was happy, and I was hoping they would say it to him. I just didn't want to be the one. So once they said it to him, I think it just was like the cherry on top because he felt it all the while because all our conversation was, I miss my husband, I miss my wife. And it was so sad because those couple weeks seemed like forever. He was working like 6 days. When you don't have paperwork, they slave you. They work you. And so he would only have that one day off. And as soon as he would get off, he was heading to New Jersey to come spend the night with us. And then he had to cut right back out in the morning to get back for his next shift. It was hard. Oh my God. Think about it. We got married on a Saturday, and Tuesday morning he was gone. Trying to do whatever he could. But I'm like, listen, you are a barber. You got the whole Nigerian community here on lock. Do that. Do whatever you know, if it makes you feel better. And like I said, it went from April to January before he got his paperwork, and boom, he had all the plugs, because everybody here in the Nigerian community was straight as far as employment. You just needed to have documentation in hand for them to get you in. But once he got that paperwork in hand, y'all, I hardly saw him again. And keep in mind, it's not even a year into this marriage. We're still newlywed, because he out there hustling. Because I told y'all, to this day, he'd be like, I got to go make your money. That's what he say to me every morning before he leave his house. I got to go make your money. So we did what it took. It was a long 8 months, but we got through it. So I'm just putting that out there for anybody who that may be going through this. You know what to expect. So that 2-year green card interview. Oh my God, that was very invasive. And that was the beginning. So you can imagine that it got more intense as things went on. Those people would stake out around your home. Because remember, once you file that documentation, they have access and are privy to your information. They do things like stake out around the home because they want to make sure that both of you are coming and going in that residence, and that you, from what they can see on the outside, really look like a true couple indeed, and not that it's arranged. Not that you're staying one place and the hubby staying one place, and every time we send y'all some correspondence and you both show up together. They do these things. They wanted pics. Okay, so when I went into the interview, we went in together. Like I said, we were in a good headspace. And when they called our case, they took me in the back first without hubby, because they tend to separate the couples because they want to interview both parties and ask the same questions and make sure that your answers are aligned. So the first thing they did when I went in was swear me in. We're on camera. In case you don't know, this is for anyone who may be new to this podcast. You're sworn in. Your seat is just at the desk, 2 chairs. Camera on you, recording the whole time. First thing this woman did after asking me to confirm my full name and my address and just my personal credentials was, who is this? It was a picture of my husband's ex-wife. Because immediately they thinking, this is still his wife. They are trying to, pull wool over my eyes. He married me because he intends going to bring her over or still be with her or whatever their plans are. So this is what they're coming at me with. And I was like, it's his ex-wife and his mom. Okay, thank you, Lacey. And she was like, oh, so you know her? Yes, I do. How solid is your marriage? How solid is your marriage? Because I'm telling you, everything they asked me, I was turning back on them. Because I'm very aggressive and very assertive. And you can't do anything to me. I'm a citizen. You're not going to disrespect me, and you're not going to disrespect my husband either. So I need you to know who you're dealing with. So if you come at, the average Joe that walks in like that, then you're going to have to straighten up and fly right when you come at me, because I'm not them. So she was asking, like, if I knew why they separated. And I'm like, listen, whatever he did with somebody prior to me, that's none of my business. The only reason why this woman is still in the picture is because they share children together. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't know anything about her except whatever he shared with me, and I wouldn't care. Well, do you have a relationship with her? Absolutely not. Why not? Why would I? I didn't date her. And so she was like, but he got kids with her. And I said, and that's between him and her, just like my son is between my son's father and me. We don't do that. We're grown. We're grown. My son is 31. So why are you like, really? So she wanted to see, and we had to bring a lot with us. So mind you, I have the bag. They wanted to see family photos showing that he is engaged in my family. I am equally engaged with his family. As far as me showing photos with his family, all I really had was like group settings. His brother had a wedding ceremony a month before in December, so their family came in from Nigeria and all across the U.S., Arizona, Alabama, New York, you name it, they came. And I have a lot of contact with them for the 3 days that they were all in town, making preparations for the wedding and up through the wedding. We had several pics with him and my family because this is where we live and we're around them all the time. So all our family functions and stuff, we're both there, we're both present. So there's a lot as far as my family, but they really want to see my engagement with his family because I did not go to Nigeria and get married and bring the paperwork back. My hubby came here and we got married here. So they want to see, how engaged he is with the family. Not that there's any difference when you go over to their country, because they get more in depth when you go over to that country. They want to see how many people were in attendance equally with both ceremonies, but they expect more parties to be in attendance on behalf of the person in the other country. Family, like the family history, our engagement with one another's family. They wanted to see joint bank accounts because they say a normal married couple would have joint bank accounts. And I'm here to tell them that that's not true. That's not necessarily true. Every married couple do not share joint bank accounts. Somebody is piss poor with decision making when it comes to finances. And so the other party takes over or separate their money from them. Like, you have yours, I have mine. And then we bring our money together right here in the middle. So at the time, we did have joint bank accounts. They wanted to see household bills with both of our names on it. I see you say that's not true, Judith, but I don't know what you're talking about at the time because I'm just keeping down there. So they wanted to see some bills with his name, some bills with my name. At that time, majority of the bills were still in my name because remember, everything was already established and in place when he arrived in the country. So I wasn't undoing anything. Like I say, and I always say, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Let's not fix it. So household bills with both parties' names. So moving forward after that first initial interview, we started putting some things in his name too, since this is one of the things they want to see to prove that we're both under this roof. The mortgage, rent, or lease agreement, they want both parties included in it. And you do have couples that are married to this day that never added their significant other to their lease or mortgage agreement or whatever. It happens, but in the sense of immigrations, they expect you to take these steps and do this. They want to go like, how did you meet? So they asked me and hubby how we met. They wanted to ask me, and again, we're in 2 separate rooms now. But at this time, it was just me in the back. He was still in the waiting room. Who invited him into the country? So I told him his brother. They went through, again, just like with the K1 fiance visa process, phone records, emails, social media, all of this stuff was invested in it. They were telling me stuff that I knew only he and I knew about because it was our thread over in our inboxes on Facebook and stuff like that. Okay, the bank account. I see you, Judith. They were bringing up like that picture that they got of his ex-wife was clearly from a social media account. I recognize the picture. Who attended the wedding ceremony on both parties' behalf? Yes, it is truly invasive. So with our ceremony, I told you guys the last baby, the 5-year-old, at the time when we got married in the beginning of April, he was born on March 18th. And when he was born, he was unfortunately he had to stay in the hospital for 8 weeks. We didn't have a great big grand ceremony because I never really wanted one. We would have gone probably a little bigger than what we did, but for the sake that the baby was in the hospital, fighting for his life, and we were going through all that, we just went, and I was pretty okay with it, justice of the peace, and did that. And then we came back here and had a big ceremony at the house. And then later that evening, we had a place where we invited a lot of family and friends to come and dine with us and spend the evening with us. And then after that, my sister had a surprise party, so we all went to Pennsylvania. So it was like 24 hours nonstop on our wedding day. We're probably the only couple, and I told them that we're not intimate on the night that we got married because we were exhausted after all that. It was funny, but we made up since then. But okay, let's stay on track. So, and I even shared that the day of our ceremony, and Erica Wilson, yeah, I see you laughing, Boo. She was there. She was privy to both ceremonies. When we went to the Justice of the Peace, and then when we had at 1 year, we had our reception, and we had it Afrocentric. We did it with Nigerian natives and everything, and so Erica was there, and I only invited 3 of my girlfriends and just a few of my family members because I just wanted it really simple. And I wanted to go to the hospital to see the baby, but unfortunately I never made it. So I had to call and talk to the doctors and stuff like that to get updates. And I told them it was my wedding day, and they're like, "Don't worry, we got the Cuddle Me program here. He'll be fine." But you know, I know I'm taking this baby. I know what this baby's going through, but it was just not enough. But I told hubby, keep it very simple. Invite maybe 5 people. We get there and the Americans, this is our country now, we are completely outnumbered by the Nigerians. Oh, they were there. Because see, they knew with them going through this process that they needed to show out for this ceremony and make sure that it was a number of them there, because they knew, I didn't know because I never gone through the immigration process and we hadn't gotten to this point yet. So they were really there to show out and be in our videos and photos and just be a part of the festivities all together. They are party people. If you guys don't know anything about Nigeria, more than any of the other African countries, I think it's safe to say that Nigerians party the most. I think I honestly do. You guys that follow me all the time know that I always tell you hubby's at a social gathering like 3, 4, 5 times a week. That's what they do. I used to be with them, but I'm exhausted. I'm tired now, and I use the babies as an excuse, but he still goes. So that's them. Yes, Erica had a great time. Welcome, Deandra. Thank you for popping in. Appreciate having you. I know you guys are busy. So yeah, they outnumbered us, and rightfully so, because I didn't know that later down the line we would have to, go through all that, improve all that. But they knew, and thank God, and they did what they had to do. So again, they outnumbered us. They wanted to see photos of engagement with us with social gathering, both with, again, my family and then his Nigerian friends and family that are here, because they want to see who is in support of our union. I don't understand why it's so important, because again, the most important elements to a union for me is myself, my husband, and God. Family is next, of course, because they are in support of the union and they want to fight for the marriage to work out. In the event there's problems, they're going to push for us to stay together. However, immigrations look at it a little differently. So you guys, if you don't know, pictures. Whenever you are out with your significant other from day one, start taking pictures. Going to the movies, in the vehicles together, out at the park, any place you guys are, in the home, whatever, constantly take pictures, because they want to make sure that you guys are around each other all the time. Of course, ladies, we change our hairstyles and stuff like that along the way. That's a good thing. They're constantly taking pictures. They're going to know that this is some time in between these pictures, is over a duration of time. You don't realize how invasive these people really are. a lot of Nigerian gatherings. Like I said, I think I burnt myself out because I went to more of them in the beginning. And so now I'm like, listen, I'm a grandma. I ain't got time for all this partying, and I be burnt out at the end of the night. And it just take me too long to recover. So y'all got all that. There are American couples whose family don't support their union. Absolutely. It's funny that immigration use that as a form of proof. They really do. Look, that's on the top of the list. That's on the top of the list. I just recently saw a couple that the guy did not successfully, make it into the U.S. because he did not, when this woman went over into Nigeria to marry him initially, brought back the paperwork, and that 2-year process started, and they were up for their first interview for their for him to come on over, like for them to get it set up. Things went wrong. This woman had to go back to Nigeria again, and they had to have another ceremony. Basically, they made them start from ground one. They did all that. And keep in mind, all this going back and forth traveling and stuff, that's expensive. So she went back over. They had another ceremony. They started it all over again. And unfortunately, it landed to the point where it was right before the pandemic. So a lot of the buildings shut down. Unfortunately, and it's not their fault, but guess what? The time expired. So what do you think had to happen? They have to pay again. Even if it's not their fault. They don't care. They don't care. Immigrations is set up to give you a reason to not get those green cards and make you have to hire attorneys. So that gets very expensive. Start the process over or deny you your next level on your green card. And you have to wait for a certain amount of years, and then they'll contact you again. It's just, every case is different. Again, I don't want to speak on everybody else's situation, just specifically mine and hubby, and then maybe just like a few party members. Yeah, they should have extended the time, but that's not the way it works. You got to think, everything with immigration is hustle. And it's just to earn money. And it's like, again, it's nobody's fault that we had a pandemic and those offices shut down, but that's what they did. Welcome in, Green Nation. Thank you for coming in, King. Appreciate having you here. So they wanted references to attest our union being real. So hubby had, thank you so much, PMC. Appreciate you stopping in, sir. I will check you out tomorrow morning if you do in fact go live. Have a good one. They check with references to attest our union being real. So hubby's had some friends. Erica, that's in here, was one of my personal references. Unfortunately, and I shared with you guys, one of my close friends / little sister, we were coming up on her death anniversary in November. She also was a reference. So when she passed, guess what? I had to come up with somebody else. They're so cold. And they can care less, and this is a life. But they knew immediately and reached out. And I'm like, how in the heck? And I'm like, never mind, they're immigrations. They know. So I had to replace her, and as far as the reference, because unfortunately. But hubby has friends that we use, and they expect for you to remember exactly who you utilize as your references. Even if you're sitting in your interview and you say the wrong person, they try to hold it against you. And I'm like, boy, I sent that paperwork in 2 years ago. Like, knock it off. Like, you have to really come at these people. But me, I document and copy everything that I've ever submitted to these people. We have our own file here. And I suggest that anybody that's going through the immigrations process or dealing with Homeland Security do the same. Because it's a long, drawn-out, tedious process. And everything they say is to try to trap you up and confuse you and discredit you. So you gotta be on your A game when you're dealing with these people. I've seen a lot of people go and answer them wrong, and guess what? They either were denied, had to start the process over, or they found a way to deport these people, and it is crazy. I think I've shared with my community in the past in the live stream that When hubby and I went for our first initial 2-year green card interview, it was, I think, a total of 20 couples. Yeah, it was 20 couples that day. Only 3 of us were awarded green cards to 2 years. Like the other 17 couples, they found a problem with it because that's their goal. Their goal is to discredit your union. I know for a fact because we met one of the Hispanic. Well, the guy was Hispanic. I can't say what the woman was on the outside, and we were just talking. And this is after in the parking lot. And the guy was out there going off, and he basically just told us, like, "Y'all, they trying to say that, they trying to ruin my marriage." And we were like, "Well, what happened?" And they did the same thing with hubby, but this guy, it was crazy. They asked my husband if he still had any contact with his ex-wife. He said no. And she was like, they challenged you real hard, y'all. She was like, "I got a red pen." I don't know what that meant. "I got a red pen. I'm writing in red ink. Don't lie to me. Because I go through your phone records and I find it that you was talking to her. Deportation." And I said, "I done told you before, you're not going to be talking to my husband like you're crazy. He is a human being. I don't care where he's from and if you have respect for these people or not. This is my husband and you or no other woman is going to disrespect him. Now, go ahead, baby, and talk." And he was like, "Here's my cell phone." Like when you challenge them and you ain't got nothing to hide and you're not lying, she backed down. She backed down. I had to redirect her a couple times. You're not going to talk to him crazy. He did not come over here on a boat. I tell them that all the time. You ain't going to treat them like that. And not even just my husband. None of his family and friends in my presence. Because a lot of Americans, and I tell you guys this all the time, really mistreat people from other countries, and I'm not in support of stuff like that. But I had to let that woman know you will not disrespect nothing. Point blank in the period. And you need anybody that's listening who may be going through it. You need somebody like myself that's strong in their spot and don't play those type games and going to advocate for you 100+. They got to go ham for you. Can't be in there answering on people one word answers and all shy and twisting up on your words and your thoughts because they're going to jam you. So with the guy in the parking lot, he said that they asked him, was he talking to his ex? And he said no, but they had already had his phone records and they had it all highlighted and showed him all the verbiage that was going back and forth. And the woman, the wife, started tripping. "Oh, MF," she turned on him. I trained my girlfriends, and I know I might be wrong, y'all, but this is what I do. Don't go in there and turn on that man. Even if them people tell you something you didn't know before, you and him deal with that. You got to consider, is it more beneficial for him to be here with you or back in his country or woman or whatever? Don't let them people separate your union. You got to remember that's their end goal. You gotta still fix your face, stand there, stand firm in your spot and advocate for that person. Deal with that BS later. Don't do that in the office. And that's why they were facing deportation, because the woman turned on them and she didn't care at that point because she was caught up in her feelings. And I really talk to the women because you know what? We are emotional creatures. We act off emotions. And in that very moment, you start tripping and turn on them. Guess what? They want to deport them. And that's what happened with one of my husband's close friends. The wife got in there and heard something that she didn't know about. And she let them people deport that man. And she was like, "Nah, he ain't gonna come in my country cheating on me and this and that." And that's how she walked around with that attitude. And then after about a couple months, she was coming back to this little circle of friends like, "Oh, I want him back." And they like, "You want him back? Didn't you send him away? Don't come around here." And she tried to come to me. And I was like, I lost respect for you too, man. Like, it is what it is. You didn't want your marriage. He was here. You should have fought for that man. You fed him to the wolves. So it is what it is. You got to move on with your life. The only way you going to get him back if he have you is if you go over to his country. But he didn't come back here. You had him deported. So you got to be mindful when you're dealing with international relationships. All that comes with it. It's not easy. It is not easy. It's very draining mentally, physically, emotionally. It is, oh my God. But dealing with immigration, dealing with Homeland Security is a whole nother piece. They look for, and they go very expensive, guys, with criminal history. So you as the party that's inviting someone in or married to someone and filing them in, you had to have walked a very fine line in your past. If you know you somebody that got into some issues legally, have a backup plan of a third party person that can sign on your documents, because it's not going to go through with you. If you are not financially able to take on this person and be accountable for them, have a third party person, because guess what? It's not going to work out for you. And when I say third party person, for anyone who don't know, it's like when you get a co-signer for a loan. You have to get someone else that's going to sign on behalf of this individual as a petitioner as well, and they are equally going to be responsible for this individual while they're in the country. So doing something like this is, it's not something that you just sign on the dotted line today and then boom, it's going to go through. That doesn't work. You have to know that you're in it for the long haul. Again, people that's going through the process now initially, I don't know how long it's going to take. Hubby and I started in 2017, April 2017. And just last month, he got us 10 years. So with a lot of the rules and the changes that are in effect now, I'm sure you guys are looking at longer. You came in at 7 years old, Wave. Wow. Okay, Deandra, thank you, beautiful. Just get caught up in feelings. Yeah, women get caught up in their feelings in those meetings, and they react. We're emotional creatures. That's what we do. We're wired like that. So you got to be able to be in control of yourself and contain those emotions, and see that through, because you got to determine, are you going to see this person through this process? Or are you going to get mad and try to control this individual and ship them back to their country? Because I think when women start getting this document, this correspondence, and they see you as a petitioner, like, you can't travel without me. He can't do this. I'm the petitioner. They sending the stuff to you about him. So you're on the documents even before the individual. People can't control having too much power. And so now, the man that you respected and loved, you start dangling things over their head. Oh, I'll send your ass back. Or I'll tell immigration you're not good. Not good. But I see it happen all the time. It happens all the time. Women tend to lose respect for the man and their marriage and or union in the process. It happens. And it happens in a normal relationship. So you can imagine what someone from another country is going through when they get with an American woman. And our mentality, we're headstrong. And then we get with other females and run our problems by them. And they like, girl, don't put up with that. And then you brought him into the country, and you shift. The shift happens. And then you turn on your own partner. It's crazy, but it happens. Gotta be mindful of what you're getting in. It should be real. You should not marry an immigrant if you're not knowledgeable about what you're getting yourself involved with. And remember, my hubby has children. So, of course, that's a package deal for me. If I file him, I file them. I see a lot of couples that's not willing to file in the children. And I'm like, so you could be with that man, but you can't be the stepmom to these children. Like, he's in that house with you raising yours. Why you can't equally, like, it's crazy. But people have reservations about things, and it is what it is. Welcome in, Eastad. Thank you for being here. That's my channel member, guys. That's Mr. Eastad. Ladies, I told Eastad we missed him over here last night. And yes, blessing you guys with his presence again. Thank you so much, Amy. Immigrations is, I can't tell you how draining it is. Some are very abusive experience. That's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Wave, and I do hear that a lot. I do. It's not easy being in an international relationship unless you have two mature individuals. Hubby and I disagreements are so great. They're minimal. They're very minimal because we see eye to eye a lot. And I'm just lucky. We're just lucky. because that's not happening in our circle of friends. There are a lot of problems that come up in our circle of friends. We just don't have those same views, obviously, and or problems, or we just run our households differently. But it's just like with every American marriage. It's different. It's different. I'm just happy that I have my partner, and I know he's happy that he has me as a partner as well. We're very understanding. We do get upset with one another and stop speaking like any other couple. I do want to go up one side of his head and come down the other sometimes, but who don't? But when I think about it, or I hear the other people's problems, I'm like, we laugh at each other. Like, I can't believe we bad at that. Like, please stop this. It's crazy. But a lot of times I'm frustrated from other things, and I'm trying to talk to him, and maybe it's not landing the way I want. And so unfortunately we might get into a little exchange of words. But one thing I'm practicing, I'm not letting energy from somewhere else tear down my household. That's not going to work. So if I think that I'm practicing something now, if I think that hubby's not answering me or not in tune to what I'm talking to him about at the time, I'll shut the conversation down and I'll reapproach it later. Because he is my counterpart. He is my partner. That's who I do my pillow talk with. I need you to understand. I need your feedback, but not when you're not in the right headspace. So that's something I'm working on, where I can control it and eliminate, some of the arguments or disagreements, or just going back and forth with my hubby. Because again, I'm not arguing with him about something that's happening somewhere else. I just need your opinion. But again, you have to be in the right headspace for it. And that's even with my girlfriend. If I come to you and you're joking and I think it's a serious topic, I'm gonna shut it down. Oh girl, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later when you are in the headspace that I need you to be in, because I really need some good feedback right now. I'm not playing. Normally people can read my body language, because again, I told everybody it's hard for me to pretend. So if I'm feeling the waves, you're gonna know it. You don't accept my kids. I don't want you. Absolutely, Erica. Hey, Jared, welcome in, King. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you, Wade. Appreciate having you. Yeah, they really don't understand the process. Let's see what she said there. Working on both your channels, Jared. I'm gonna have to check out your second channel. Drop your link in here, King, so I can find you. Or drop your channel name. So they also check like domestic violence calls to your home. To me, they're very similar in the same things that we go through as foster parents, because they too check like domestic violence and stuff like that, criminal history. So all the information that I have to keep on file for being a foster parent here in New Jersey, I have accessible. So that when it's time for immigration, I just grab that file and go there, because they ask for a lot of the same information. Both parties are very invasive. If anybody has ever dealt with DCP&P, which here in New Jersey is Division of Child Protection and Permanency. However, in other states, I hear it called CPS. Over here, it used to be Division of Youth and Family Services, IFAS. So, another thing they check, because remember, Guy, their goals is to say that you're a marriage that is false. So they check the kids' school records. They wanted to see proof that my hubby was documented as an emergency contact, listed that he was in the home, and that he was seen at the school either dropping off or picking up the kids and attending some functions. Very, very serious. The school was able to give them that on their letterhead at both of our interviews. So, yeah, they're very, very expensive. They go as far as life insurance policies. They expect for you to have some. And they want to see who's listed as the beneficiary. So when we went to our first interview, she was like, do you guys have life insurance? This was still when I was in by myself. And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, let me see it. So I gave her my policies. She was like, you got your husband listed equal to your mother? And I was like, yeah. Oh, I don't think you should do that. I said, I don't think you should be advising me. I don't think you should be advising me. I have my husband, yes, 50%, and my mom, yes. Yes, I do. On that particular policy, because I have other policies for my son. But I showed her what I wanted to show her. And she was, when I told y'all we stood on that topic like 10 minutes, she was challenging it. I think you need to rethink this. This man is going to take your money and this and that. And I said, and if he do, how does that affect you? Well, you know what they do. I said, let me explain something to you. I'm not new to this. I'm new to going through this immigration process because this is my first time, but I'm not new to dealing with individuals from other countries and cultures. I know a lot of things too. So at that point, I sat there and started busting it up with her. I think our interview was longer than the average because I started telling her about things that I knew about so she can know you're not dealing with a dummy. So that's what I mean when I say you got to gain control and take control of the interview process and just let them know you're not a fool. See? This is a very good topic and women should stand by their man because the immigration say he or she sees where that man is cheating, it could be a lie, and some women walk away right there. Exactly. And that's what I said a few moments ago, Green Nation. We had a friend to our clip that was in there, and they showed her something pertaining to another woman, and she flipped on that man, and she had them deport him. She was so frustrated, they got into an argument. She turned on that man, but I was saying that I advise women not to do that. I talk to women and tell them, look, they gonna challenge y'all, and they gonna show y'all some things that's gonna hurt. Stand in there, stand and advocate for that man. Stand in there, stay with it, stick it through. You can argue with him and beat him up and everything else you got to do afterward. Don't turn on that man in front of them because they're gonna get you. As soon as they see they can get you, they're gonna keep coming for you. That interview is gonna go longer and longer because they know you're weak and they can get you. So yeah, I started telling her stories about different things that I've witnessed. Like, I'm not a fool. I know what you're trying to tell me, what a lot of women was telling me when they first knew that I was dating a man from another country. Be careful, he just gonna bring his other woman on over here and then he gonna leave you. Be careful, and I share this with my community that I have witnessed, and it wasn't Africans, it was other countries too. You'll be in a relationship with someone and y'all be living together happy as far as you're concerned. And I mean, the way he makes it look, and just like American men, because I'm telling y'all it's no different, they can really play that role. I tell y'all, American men can meet a woman in a bar and become intimate with her that night and don't give a damn about her the next day. Well, these people go a little further when they want to obtain a green card or citizenship or whatever. They can play that role. They can be with you and be in this committed relationship and doing all the things that you think are right as far as your partner or your spouse is concerned. And they can be in it for their own selfish reasons, but you have to know your relationship. You have to stand firm in your union, in your marriage. My husband has never, let me make this clear, very clear, never made me feel uncomfortable in any situation. I've shared with you people when we did International Love. Do I even care when he speaks his native tongue? Absolutely not. My husband will correct them. My wife is American. He will have them speak English. Or he will make me feel he comes to where I am and tell me what's being said. He don't want me to feel uncomfortable in any situation. Those women, and I told y'all this too, they know that my marriage is solid. I told you. A lot of the women don't really appreciate the Nigerian men being with Black American women. Is the same prejudice like us Black American women not liking Black men with Caucasian women. It's the same prejudice, but it is what it is. And of course, they probably didn't think that my union was real and solid when they first met us, when my hubby first came over. But women were coming after him. I shared that with you. There was one in particular And he told her I was in a marriage, but I wasn't around because I was tending to that baby. And so she was like, you're right, you're right. Like, okay, if this man is telling you he's in a marriage, clearly he don't want you. But she was being very aggressive, and kept going through other people trying to get access to him. And it was like, he really is married. He's married to an African American woman. And it took a while. But one day I came to a function. I didn't know any of this, y'all. I found out this day. I was wondering why, of all the people I saw at this function, my husband went out into the yard and brought one particular woman and brought her to me and introduced her. Like, this is my wife. And then she greeted me, I greeted her. I didn't think nothing of it, but as a woman, like, well, why would he only bring this woman out of all the people here? So it wasn't until we were leaving and going home, and he said to me, do you remember I brought this girl to meet you today? And I was like, yeah. I was like, why did you do that? And he was like, and that's when he told me the story that the girl was like trying to approach him, and he told her he was married and she didn't believe it. And then she tried to go through a couple of the friends, and they told him yes, but he wanted her to see like, yeah, this is my wife, this is real. And the woman, she never spoke to me or nothing, just like stared at me from that day until it was a while. It was like a year plus. She would just stare at me like this whenever I went to a function. But I don't think she knew how to approach me in a friendly manner, or she probably didn't know how much my husband or anybody else had shared with me. But she eventually came around, and now when she talks to me, she's like, your husband, let me explain to you. Even your husband brother is here, and he's a player. But your husband, the way you see him right now, I'm saying, you can stop me right now. You don't have to tell me nothing about my husband. I know him. I'm not being smart, but I already know what my husband do. You don't have to tell me. The same thing I see him over there doing right now is what he do when I'm not around. That's what you go tell me. Yeah, I know my husband. People can come tell me something. And it's just like these kids too. I know what he's capable of, but I know what he's not doing too. And I had to let her know, and I shared that with y'all before. Girl, you ain't got to tell me nothing about my husband. Because you know them times when he's with y'all and I'm not there, he on the phone? It's me on the phone. He's calling me, telling me what he expect me to be like when he come home, and he can't wait to get home, and that kind of stuff. Like, he's over there still courting his wife. So don't you ever think he's talking to another woman or whatever you think. It's me, just so you know. I said, don't you see him turn the phone around? He's showing me what's going on. He calls me to show me him at gatherings when I'm not there and stuff. So not concerned. But women have to stand firm and not let anybody tear their marriage down. You're a green card holder, cook and clean and work and take care of responsibilities around the house. As a man should, my wife hopefully appreciate you to say, I'm too good. Yes, and that's exactly how my husband is. And my husband is very, he's well known because he's a barber. That's what he loves. That's his passion. So here he have, like I said, the whole community of Nigerians online and Americans too. He travels in Kha'yair. A lot of people used to come to the home. We have an area that he used to come here. But once the pandemic happened, I asked him to take the traffic out of the house. And I don't mind. Go cut your hair. I know that's what he loves. He calls me and let me see him cut hair. I'm like, boy, bye. I gotta go. I'm gonna watch TV. He is so in tune with his wife. People still think like we're dating. Like, y'all get along so cute. And I'm like, we have our dry moments too, just like any other relationship. But when you have a good man, that's why she say you're too good to be true. It really is. You really are. You really are. It's hard to believe. She know you're a nice looking gentleman too. You're easy on the eyes. So she knows what she has, but then she knows the back end of it, like you as a partner too. So she knows she's blessed to have you, Green Nation. What Erica say? She must be blaming you. No. She knows that she got a good man. That's what it is. I know when I go for that interview, you pray that they see that she's going to leave. Oh, no, we got to work on her. Put her in contact with me. Put your wife in contact with me so I can educate her too. Don't turn on you, no. And she can't, even if she believe it, don't show them she believe it. That's some communication breakdown with you and your wife. And you have to convince your wife that she is the apple of your eye and that she is enough for you. And you got to show her other relationships, because we and I hate to keep saying this, but it's true. The other couples look up to myself. They be like, Wanda and Tony are the perfect couple, like dealing with someone from Nigeria in America. And I'm like, no, we actually aren't. We're just one of the successful couples like that really made it through. That's all. But we're not any better than anybody else. But they have such breakdown in their relationships. You can't glorify and idolize somebody else's relationship. You have to make your own relationship yours. That's just it in a nutshell. But we have couples that follow our like social media accounts, and the wife will go to the husband like, why can't you be like Uncle Tony? Why can't you put me up on your page like he put his wife like every other day? And he's like, that's just what my husband do. He makes sure that everybody know that stuff is right over here. I'm all over his social media. That he used to question me like, why you won't put me on yours? I said, I don't be on Facebook. I be on Instagram shooting my information over to Facebook because they're connected. Those people think I'm over there because they see uploads and highlights and stories. I'm over on Instagram. They share it. So they send it over for me. But he be feeling the way sometimes. So sometimes I'll go over there and put him up because I don't ever want him to feel insecure or that I don't love him equally, or if not, more than he loved me. It is what it is. Yeah, I need to talk to your wife, Green Nation. It may not be used to what you bring to the table. It may take some time for her to understand you are what she deserves. A lot of women operate that way. Yes, and I want to say this. A lot of American women, my friends or people that are not dating Nigerian men or foreigners, period, they idolize our relationship and they long for it and they want it too because they're not used to American men, sorry, Eastad, treating them that way. They're not. There are some, don't get me wrong, but I have to be honest with you, brothers. We've been in enough piss poor relationships that we've accepted it. And it's the norm for us. So when you get somebody putting you up on a pedestal and treating you like that, and it's your first time experiencing that, it does feel like it's too good to be true. And you ever seen that? And I shared this before, that movie Fat Girls with Monique. Remember how that man was loving up on her and he was passionate about her and he was trying to get to know her and her soul and everything he wanted to know. And she just wanted to hop into bed because that's what she was used to, or the lack of, because in her case, she wasn't getting no rhythm. But that man was taking the time to get to know her and work on the way she was talking, all vulgar. He kept saying women shouldn't talk like that and all this kind of stuff. So, it is what it is. Women aren't used to it. But I do want to say this. It's unfortunate. I don't want to go too far. We're definitely going to pick up right here when I go live again within the week because we're going to finish the whole immigration process. My neighbor is knocking on the door now. I got to go because we do have an appointment, an engagement. Judith, I'll call you later. Sierra, I'll call you later. Everybody in here, thank you so much for tuning in. I will have part 2 because we got to get down to this Green Nation. I need to talk to your wife. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will pick up. Love and respect to you all. God bless.